Hey guys, happy Witchy Wednesday. It's Mark with Mark and Nathan's YouTube channel. This is very exciting for me. This is going to be one of our first cooking demos. You can certainly put in the comments if there's anything you want me to try my hand at, any particular recipes you want to see, any kind of tutorials. I'm in the kitchen trying new stuff all the time, learning all sorts of new methods and techniques and trying new recipes. Today we are going to start with chicken enchiladas, or pulled chicken enchiladas rather. I will break down some of the tutorials that I'm going to do step by step. So you may see a little cut or break here and there in the video because I'm not going to just make it a straight through. I'll probably cut between steps and cut out certain things. Like, for example, you don't need to see me. If I say the instruction is to stir the pot until it's well and mixed, you're not going to see me, so some stuff may be cut out lengthwise. But yes, we are going to start. I just got this very small chicken from the grocery store. We're going to start by boiling that down and warming it so that, a little bit of drippage there. We're going to boil that down so that it softens the meat, making it easier to cut up and pull off the bones and such. And then we are going to season it, wrap it in some delicious flour tortillas with some other toppings like cheeses, sour cream, the whole shoot and match, and put that in the oven. So yeah, feel free to follow us on this journey and on the journey of other recipes that we cook on our channel, and let's have a good time. It's going to be so tasty. Stick around. I'm back, guys. So this will be the first step in our tutorial for the pulled chicken enchiladas. I've got just a basic pot here for boiling my water. I'm gonna put it in my sink and fill it here about halfway. And then what I'm gonna do as well is sprinkle in a little bit of salt, because that does help with increasing the speed at which your water will boil. Boil it on high for about 5 minutes or however long it takes to bring it to a boil, and then turn that down to a simmer. And then I'm going to place my chicken in the pot, at which point we'll boil that for about 20-30 minutes. Okay guys, so I've got my pot on the stove here behind me, and we're going to let that boil. I've got my chicken in the water, and we're gonna let that boil, like I said, for about 20 to 30 minutes, give or take, however long it takes for that. And then I will come back when that is ready and show you guys our next step in the process. So stick around. Welcome back, guys. So I've got my chicken still boiling behind me on the stove. The next step I'm gonna do, and I'll do this off camera just because the machine I use can be a little loud. I've got a food processor, and so what I'm gonna do is take 3 bars of this cheese that I have here, and then I'm going to grind it up and have it kind of in a shredded amount. And what we're going to do is mix that into our enchiladas as we cook them and when putting them in the oven to give them that nice cheesy flavor. I've got some mozzarella cheese as well that we're also going to use. So that will be our next step, and once I've got these ground up, I'll come back and show you guys the final results. Hey guys, welcome back. So we just finished boiling our chicken, and we just strained it here. And now we are going to get it on the counter after making sure I got all the water out of it so that we don't make a mess. Ooh. Yeah. So now, what we're gonna do is just leave the chicken here on the counter for a moment. As you can probably tell, it's very hot, very steamy. And once it becomes a little cooler to the touch and not so hot, we will come back and show you how we are going to cut up our chicken and proceed with our next step. Also, while this was done, I preheated the oven for 450 degrees so that when we are ready to actually get our enchiladas in the oven will be nice and hot. All right, we will see. Okay, guys, so my oven is now heated up. My chicken is now cut from the bone and chopped. And I now have 2 packets of original taco seasoning. And what I'm going to do with this is put it on the stove in my skillet here to cook and season the chicken per the instructions on the packet. And then what I am going to do is I have a pan here that I'm going to use to wrap my enchiladas in to put in the oven once that is done. Another thing I'm going to do is I have my flour tortillas right here. And what I'm going to do is, while the meat is getting finished, I'm going to butter or grease up my pan so that the shells don't stick to it. And then I'm gonna lather some sour cream and some of the cheeses that I've selected into the tortilla. And when the meat is done, I will place some of the meat on top, roll the tortilla to place in the pan as tightly and as snug as possible, and repeat the step until all of my chicken and tortillas are prepared. I will sprinkle some more cheese and sour cream on top, along with some queso, and then place in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or so, or until the cheese is melted, and then we will have our finished product. And I will come back to show you how each of the steps progress, as well as the final product at the end before, the good part. So stay tuned and have fun, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, all right, so I now have my seasoning and chicken added together, and I've got them boiling in some water here on the stove behind me. Let's give it a quick stir. So I've got everything all ground up and mixed here. Just getting it good and stirred so that the seasoning all melts in. And then what I'm doing now, in the meantime, while that finishes, I've got some cheddar and mozzarella cheese and some sour cream. And what I'm doing with that is I'm just mixing a small amount of each of these onto my tortillas. And then what I'm going to do with each of them is fill them with chicken once the chicken is ready. I've got a pie pan or a baking pan here behind me that I'm just gonna grease up real quick. And then once these are filled and rolled, top them off with a little more cheese and sour cream. And then place them in the oven for about 15 minutes or so, give or take, while that cheese melts and everything kind of blends. And then top them with some queso sauce when they come out of the oven. It's gonna be so tasty. Stick around. I have my enchiladas made. I'm now going to just sprinkle the top with some sour cream And then as evenly as possible, just kind of spread that over top on each of the tortillas that I have here. And then also I do have some leftover cheese from the filling I made for each of the burritos or the wraps for the enchilada. What I'm going to do is sprinkle that cheese atop here as well. And then once that is done, these will go in the oven at 450 for approximately 15 minutes and then be taken out to let stand for approximately another 10 minutes to cool. And then we eat. We'll see you guys then. Okay guys, welcome back. So we just finished preparing our enchiladas, got it all prepared. It sat in the oven for about 15-20 minutes or so. Everything is still all nice and hot and fresh from the oven. I have a little queso dip while this is still somewhat hot that we're gonna sprinkle on top. And then once that is done, we're gonna let these cool and set a little bit to become, you know, safer and cooler to the touch. And once that is done, it will finally be time to dig in. So I'm just gonna bring in a little queso and just as evenly as possible spread around the top here, kind of in this center, work my way out to the sides and get everything spread as even as possible. And there we are. It is all set now. That's left to do is wait another 5-10 minutes or so to let everything cool and set. And we are done. We will see you when it's cooled and it is now time to eat. Hey guys. So it's Mark and Nathan.
Hello,
this time.
Everybody.
So we just finished our chicken enchiladas, our pulled chicken enchiladas, and are getting ready to take our first bite and see how it goes.
Yep, here we go.
I think that was very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely make it again.
definitely. So this was like our first homemade recipe. We plan to try and get these up once a week at least. You can expect to see it on Wednesdays.
Witchy Wednesdays.
Our Witchy Wednesdays, yes. And then we have a whole bunch of recipes we've got planned for you guys. So it'll be fun to see how it all comes together and what you guys think. If you've got any recipes you'd like us to try, put them in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys at the next one. Take care.